Hello everyone, I'm in Graiguenamanagh in County Kilkenny because I'm visiting the two high crosses in the graveyard here in Dushk Abbey graveyard because I want to show you how to map them. And this is one of them there. This is probably the best shot I can get where you can actually see stuff on it. So let's go and map them. Let's have a look at all the tags first. The main key for high cross is historic equals high_cross. Easy enough. What's very important to remember is that you're not using that for any type of cross that looks like a high cross, so a so-called Celtic cross. So not 1798 memorials that have the shape of a Celtic cross. They are historic memorial, and then we'll have to come up with a tagging scheme for those as well at some point. Probably memorial equals Celtic cross or something like that. Just, only the genuine early medieval high crosses we're talking about here that look like a Celtic cross because there are, that's one of the words for them. So that's the main tag. And then you can add a lot of other tags as well. Some are more important than others. I would say that, for example, the move tag is important because sometimes the high crosses have been moved from the original monastic site to where they are now, be it in a museum or be it in another graveyard where they can be looked after better. Sometimes also there are replicas. For example, the high crosses you see in Clonmacnoise out in the graveyard, they're actually replicas. The originals are in the visitor centre. So I think that's important to know, whether you're looking at a replica or the original thing. And then you can add a heritage tag with the heritage class, and I've linked that there. You can go onto there and check out which heritage class applies. If it's a tourist attraction, then you use tourism attraction, which, because they're rare enough, is the case for a lot of them, and also define tourism. Anyone who's interested in high crosses and travels around the country and visits them is a tourist. Then a Wiki Commons link. Sometimes it makes sense to link to a category because high crosses are usually carved on all 4 sides, or at least on 2 sides, and then it makes sense to have pictures of both sides, and it's better to link to the category than just one file. And then also a mapillary link if you have. What you can also do for the Irish ones, I think I have that up here. Yeah, if they are national monuments, and I'm fairly sure I've mapped all the high crosses that are national monuments, we use the ref:/IE:/NM. And then also you can add the Sites and Monuments Records number, which is ref:/IE:/SMR. But we'll do that when we get there. So let's go back to Graiguenamanagh, which is here. The crosses are in this corner of the graveyard now. I left notes, which I hope nobody has resolved yet. No. Few. So these are the locations roughly of the 2 high crosses. And I left a couple of other notes that I need for future videos. So we'll go into the editing mode. I'm logged in with my username. I can't cover all of that in this video, but it's all covered in the introductory video, which I can link up in the corner. So I go into edit, and I'm using the ID editor for this again, as I usually do for my videos. And I zoom in here, and of course now we can't see the nodes, but I can make them visible again going into the map data layer and activate them. So they're more around the bottom one. So I'll do the southern one first. They're referred to on the Historic Environment Viewer as the South Cross and the North Cross. And that's kind of what I called them on Wikimedia and Wikidata as well, the Southern Cross and the Northern Cross, just to be able to differentiate them. So we'll go into the southern one first, which is, I think there's actually a blob here. You can actually see the 2 blobs there and there. I think that's actually where they are, because the church building ends here on this line, and they were definitely not in this area. So anyway, here's the first one. There is no established tag for it. As usual, I just wrote this wiki page last week or the week before. So historic high_cross. It should come up when you type high because, as I said, I have all the national monuments mapped, so that's 34. I think as soon as you have 10 items mapped with the same key, it will come up in the ID editor. Okay, so high cross, it is moved. What else? Already forgotten. It's not indoor, so I'm not going to put indoor, no. Cupboard, no, I won't put that. It's only when you use yes, you would put those on. It's not a replica either. I guess we could use it as a tourism attraction. I won't put that on. But Wikimedia Commons I will add. It would have been useful if I had opened that already. Commons Wikimedia. And I'll just log in because then I'll find it easier. So it's the Northern Cross. I think I have 5 pictures of the Northern Cross and 3 of the Southern Cross. So I'll click on this one here. So I could just use this image, I suppose, but I'd rather link to the whole category, which I created yesterday as well. And I called it Dishk Abbey Southern High Cross. So I copy that. And I have to add category before that. And then paste whatever I have there. I also could add the Wikidata, because there's a bit more information there. Well, not yet, but I can add it. Dishk Abbey Southern Cross. So you see, I used that image there, and there's a bit more information. I could have added more, but I didn't have a lot of time yesterday. So I just copy this number here, but starting with the Q, and add that as Wikidata. And you see that pops up this field here, the Wikidata field. And I think it might actually also automatically add the Wiki Commons category. I'm not entirely sure. Then we also want to add the Sites and Monuments Records number, which you find on maps.archaeology.ie/historic environment. And then you have to find Graiguenamanagh. It should be... Oh, this is embarrassing here. And it's this one here, the Southern Cross. If you read through the description here, it says the South Cross is associated with the medieval church in Kilkieran. I have no idea, Townland. So that gives you the information that it was moved. And I added that information in the Wikimedia for the photograph. I haven't added it to the Wikidata entry, which I should do at some point, if there is such a tag as original location. So I'm copying the number up here in the corner and add ref IE SMR and paste that there. Is there anything else I can do? I'm not sure do I have mapillary? I did actually, yes. I walked around the graveyard getting mapillary with a 360 camera. It's just not online yet, I think. But I can also already get the link. Yeah, I don't think I got a really good picture. Maybe this one, we can use this one. So I just walked around the graveyard for a little bit, but I wasn't really focusing on the high crosses. So this is this one here we're talking about. That's the Southern Cross, and this is the Northern Cross. So I go to Image Options, Advanced, and copy this key here. Mapillary. I think that's all I can do. Yep, it's good enough. And if I upload that, added Southern Cross source notes, because I use the OpenStreetMap notes and also survey. And do we want to use? We'll use the hashtag highcross, because we haven't used hashtags in a while for the videos. And then I can solve this note here. Turns it green and then it vanishes at some point. And then we'll add the Northern Cross, which is this blob here, as I said. This historic high cross. Mapillary, because I still have that in my clipboard, And then the SMR, because we already have that open, so that's this one. This came from the townland of Ballyogan, so it's also moved. Ref SMR moved, yes. And what else? Indoor covered, moved, replica, no. Wikimedia Commons. And go back to, where am I? Here. The Northern Cross. Also has a crucifixion scene on it, just like the other one. And I'll just show you, get it a bit bigger. So that doesn't really improve anything. So there's the crucifixion scene, maybe you can see that. And then there is allegedly, if you know what you're supposed to see, you can see it. The fall Adam and Eve, so there's a figure here and a figure here, and with a lot of imagination you can see a tree there. And below that, I didn't pay much attention to that panel when I was there, but below that I could definitely see a person and a sheep. That's apparently the sacrifice of Isaac. And then underneath you can see a person on the left and a harp, so that's King David. And there's carvings on the base as well. But of course, because of acid rain, a lot has been washed away. That's why sometimes it's good to cover them. I mean, it's too late for most of them now. And put replicas out in the open like they did in Clonmacnoise. So the category here is Dushk Abbey Northern High Cross. Copy that, Wikimedia Commons category, and paste. Wikidata. It is here. Northern High Cross. And the number is here. And I'll paste that here. If you look at the Wikidata, this is not a video about Wikidata, but it's all connected. In the alternative names, I put the names of the townland where they were originally from. So Ballyogan High Cross, and with the other one, however you pronounce the townland there. And then also I added Graiguenamanagh High Cross. I don't know if there's an official name, but these are 3 names they might be referred to. So I put them all into the name field in Wikidata, so there is a chance of finding it. And I think that should be it. Upload. Added Northern Cross source notes and survey. I could have added the survey date, but it's not really something that is bound to be moved at some point, or hopefully not vandalized. I'd only add survey date to things where it is important to check once in a while if they're still there, like defibrillators. Sometimes benchmarks, that's not really important, but I think I only add the survey date to benchmarks because they are survey points. It's like, it's a bit meta of me to do that, I suppose. So I can go to the front page now and hopefully after a while, if I refresh, there will be something shown here. They're not rendered as a cross yet, because as I said, I've only added this to the wiki. I might start a GitHub campaign for that, or an issue, but everything takes very long. Or maybe they're just not rendered at all. But they are there. I will show you. Actually, I can use the wiki here. So we have the tag info down here in the info box, and that shows how many items with this tag have been mapped the day before, or were mapped the day before. It's only updated once a day. So there are 56 there. But if I click on any of the tag info links and then over past turbo, it should show us all the high crosses globally, and of course they're a very Irish phenomenon, so most of them will be in Ireland. And if you look down at in the corner there, it's 58 now, so I've added 2 more, and Graiguenamanagh is down here, so they are here. But there we have the 2 high crosses mapped in a good bit of detail. And I suppose I will have to start a campaign to have a little symbol for them. Wayside crosses, for example, which I'm planning a video on, they are already rendered because it's a long established tag. Let me think of where we have wayside crosses. Tullerone. So they're rendered like these little crosses there, for example. And I'm also planning a video on market crosses, because the problem was that there were no tags for them for a long time, so everybody just used, and me included, used wayside cross for high crosses, wayside crosses, memorial crosses. Anything that was by the roadside and looked like a cross was mapped as wayside cross. But that's a bit messy because a wayside cross is something really specific, and a high cross is not a wayside cross, and a market cross is also not a wayside cross. So I'm trying to tidy that up a little bit, at least for Ireland, and if people follow my example, all the better. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you go to Graiguenamanagh, there's a lot more to discover. I have done a video about... Are we still in Graiguenamanagh here? Yes. I have done a video about the smallest lane in Ireland, Peg Washington's Lane, if you want to check that out. And I think there will be other videos about Graiguenamanagh, because I got a bit of material while I was there. So thanks again for watching. You can like and subscribe if you want to, and I shall see you in another video soon, hopefully. Slán go fóill.